Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Kaufmann, and we're about to go beyond the terminus. Patients that have undergone trauma or pulpal necrosis often exhibit different degrees of discoloration and staining, especially in the aesthetic zone. Because the dentin is tubular in nature, breakdown products of the necrotic pulp will often stain the tooth from the inside out and create discoloration of the dentin, which needs to be managed to obtain an acceptable cosmetic result after the endo treatment. In the past, we used to use a combination of high concentration peroxides, such as superoxole, which was about 35%, with sodium perborate to bleach teeth. After many years of research, we found that using high concentration peroxides, or some of the more concentrated bleach solutions that are used with external bleaching, has some significant risks. One of the most important risks we must be aware of is this leaching of the peroxide solution through the dentinal tubules into the pericervical area and the PDL. This can result in rapid, catastrophic, localized, or circumferential external cervical resorption due to the caustic nature of the peroxide. There's nothing more devastating for a patient than to undergo a trauma, then successful endodontic treatment, and then find out that tooth has to be extracted due to mismanagement of the bleaching procedure. Over the past 30 years or so, Dr. Ilan Rothstein has published several articles in the JOE examining the effects of various solutions and bleaching techniques, as well as their effects on dentin and cementum. He showed that acceptable results could be obtained with sodium perborate alone, albeit taking a bit longer to obtain the desired result. It's my personal opinion that the high concentration peroxide solutions such as superoxole or the carbamide peroxide solutions that are in use with external bleaching trays should not be used internally. We have safer methods with lower risk. So how do we deal with the discolored tooth in the aesthetic zone? Patients need to be told that internal bleaching procedures are not a guaranteed solution to tooth discoloration, and that obtaining the optimal result is sometimes not possible. While we may be able to obtain a reasonably close match to their adjacent teeth, it's often very difficult to obtain a perfect match, especially in the case of an adjacent maxillary central incisor. All bleaching procedures are done under rubber dam, which includes the initial bleaching procedure and any subsequent procedures that are necessary to improve the shade to an acceptable result. It's a good idea to take preoperative and postoperative images at the beginning and end of each appointment. This way you have a record of the bleach procedure. Bleaching predictability is often related to the history of the tooth, so we need to determine how long the tooth has been discolored. We frequently see discoloration in cases where the tooth has turned slightly pink or gray as a result of a relatively recent injury. The pulpal breakdown products may not have penetrated very far into the dentin. Patients who present with long-term discolored or very dark teeth and have discoloration that penetrates very far into the dentinal tubules makes for a much more difficult and less predictable bleaching outcome. Once the endodontic treatment has been completed, we run a slow-speed round burr or air abrasion in the access and remove as much of the remnant sealer and tissue remnants as is feasible, such as in the pulp horns, without compromising the tooth structure. Remove the gutta percha to a level of about 1 to 2 millimeters below the cemento-enamel junction. Some clinicians suggest that acid etching of the inside area to be bleached with 37% phosphoric acid is indicated, but research has shown that this is not necessary, and similar results can be achieved without the use of etch. Although sodium perborate is not as caustic as peroxide-based systems, I still prefer to use a 2 millimeter layer of flowable composite or glass ionomer over the existing gutta percha to try to seal the endodontic material from the bleach. My assistants will mix up the sodium perborate with water and create a nice creamy solution, which is applied to the inside of the tooth with a thoroughly soaked cotton pellet. We must make sure that there are no cotton pellet fibers protruding from the temporary filling when we seal it. A bonded composite is placed over the access to ensure sealing of the bleaching material in the access. The Walking Bleach Technique generally recommends that the bleach material be left in the tooth for 1 to 2 weeks or until the patient's tooth color is acceptable to them. If the color is close, but not yet at the acceptable shade, we remove the previous material and refresh it with new sodium perborate. In this way, we walk the patient through the bleaching procedure with each application in order to achieve the desired result. Placement of a rubber dam and the procedures performed during endodontic treatment will often result in slight desiccation of the crown. For that reason, I always tell patients that the tooth may initially look whiter than it does, but rehydration of the tooth over the next 15 or 20 minutes after the procedure may result in slight reversion as the tooth regains its moisture. Therefore, they should ignore the initial appearance and concentrate more on the appearance after 1 or 2 weeks. Once the shade is acceptable, a bonded composite restoration is placed in the access and the case is complete. One final consideration needs to be made for those patients who are considering full mouth external bleaching in order to improve their overall aesthetic appearance. In that case, all the other teeth should be bleached first. They should have the proper shade achieved, and then the single discolored tooth is bleached to match the other teeth. There's no point in performing a single tooth bleach only to find that once the rest of the teeth have been bleached to a lighter shade, the previously internally bleached tooth now doesn't match the rest of the mouth and now has to be internally bleached again. Bleaching a single discolored tooth can make a big difference in a patient's appearance, and patients are extremely grateful once they see the results. This is especially true in cases where discoloration has been present for a long time. Improving the patient's aesthetic appearance after endodont treatment can be a great practice builder. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Beyond the Terminus. Remember, when we do the right thing, we both get better, patients and clinicians. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, it's free. Please tell your colleagues and friends so we can help grow the channel. I'm always open to suggestions regarding topics that can help you with your endodontic treatment. I look forward to our next trip when we go beyond the terminus. See you then.